I'm Clint. Thank you for joining Swatches livestream number 15. We will be doing a new art challenge, going over winners for last week's challenge. Probably doing some portfolio reviews, Paintovers. Those are both random about which ones we end up looking at, so no plans there. Let's kick it off with the intro and we'll get right into it. Hey, how's it going, guys? Leonardo, Federico, Nix, J. Welch, Abba, Valentine, Dion, good to see you all. How's it going out there? Everybody been drawing this week? Got quite a few entries for the challenge, so I know some of you at least been busy. Hey, welcome everybody. Dream Machine. Yeah, just sorting some windows around here, closing some stuff I don't need, so just give me a minute and we'll get all this situated. Yeah, Federico, you are back. David, hey, how's it going? Tim Paul? See, I was going to need to open up my portfolio list. So, a couple of the standard things if you're new to the stream. If you do want your portfolio entered to be in the portfolio review pool, then all you need to do is leave a link to your portfolio in a comment to one of my YouTube videos, and I will add it to the list. Portfolios. We do choose portfolios at random. I don't do it just on a per request basis. Hey Thomas, welcome to the stream. You barely get yours in, don't you? You just like to see how close you can get it. But yes, I did check it and I did get your entry in. Alright, we can pull that out of the way. You said you've been working. I painted the cover for a book. Hey, awesome. Awesome. Good for you, man. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you that I do have some drawing to do tonight. So, this stream will probably be a little shorter than normal. Maybe in at about an hour, hour and a half max. Then I will be switching over to Twitch and doing a concept out there. So, if you want to plan on following me out there, then you're welcome to do that as well. Marco Fabro, welcome. Rasmus. I need to pull up a link for you guys. Let me get that and we'll jump into it. So what was the book cover about that you were talking about? Bobby, man. Good to have you join. If you guys haven't checked out Bobby's stream, he's got some really cool videos. Makes a lot of handmade artisan things. You do such a variety of stuff. I'm not even sure how you simplify that, but go check out Bobby's channel. No, I watched the one with you did the mug that was all wood and the crayons, well, not crayons, the colored pencils that were coming out of it. That was really impressive. That was a beautiful piece. There we go. Okay, let me close that. Does anyone prefer YouTube to Twitch? Yeah, they do slightly different things. They give you slightly different options. On my side of it, they behave about the same. I just split them up as to what content goes where. Right, get that. Mitch, hey, hi to you as well. Anya, good to have you. Cross. My wife got me Swatches digital goodies for Christmas. Love them. Hey, she must really love you. That's a good choice. No, seriously though, thanks for picking them up, and I hope you find them beneficial. I hope you like them. There we go, live stream entries. She knows you don't need a new pair of socks. What you need is some art videos. Oh, and an iPad Pro. Nice. Very good. Alright, so these are the entries that we have for this week. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Alright, we're getting back up there. 13 entries. I think that's good. Anytime we hit around 12, it's pretty nice. Federico is starting 2 new jobs tomorrow. Wow. 2 children's books. Nice. Good job. I like to see you keeping busy. So we'll flip through any of these. We'll flip through all these. And so you guys can just be familiar with what all got sent in. Then we'll go back to which ones I think are the top ones, and we'll have a winner. This is Thomas Schaefer. Thomas, good to have you join in another challenge here. This, I believe you said in the description on the post that it was a Dinotopia fan art piece, which makes sense since there's a little dinosaur here. And I like this. This is fun. There's a lot of narrative to this piece. And they're flying around some sort of hot air balloon. The little, light dust stuff right here is cool. So, a lot of motion to it. Overall, I like it a lot. Alright, let's just do a quick pass on everybody first. Gurney is great inspiration. Oh, absolutely. I would also say, if you have not already, you probably did, but Greg Manches is somebody that is a piece of his that you should look at. Gregory Manches. It has like a snowy thing right up here in the front, and the guy's going through the snow. So there's a lot of similar elements between the two of those, so you might want to take a look at that if you want to keep developing the image. I don't think it was at night, though. So, Alec Valakut. Alright, Alec, I would say the piece is just overly dark. So, let me turn my monitor up extra high. There we go. You might want to brighten it up a little bit. Even for night scenes, they don't have to be really dark. A lot of times, if you just shift them into the cool tones, we will accept it as being nighttime. But this is a neat idea. You're presenting us with a prehistoric world that's fantasy. We got floating rocks, got a dinosaur up here, got some ruins. And it looks like this used to be a boat. I almost want to say that's I'm not sure. I want to think that's like a boat thing, which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know, the terrain has changed so much that a boat got stuck there. Sort of like that. With these all look like they're kind of leaning up, which is a little odd though. So I'd like to see if that was straightened out. It'd almost be cooler if the angles of this were opposite to that of the ground. So the ground's all going like this, but all the strata and the rocks are going that direction. So the rocks stick off at an opposite angle to it. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Cross Online. Extreme departure of styles here. This is a lot of fun. And guys, I've said it before, you don't have to always go for the realistic colors, realistic style, highly detailed rendering thing. So, like this, just a little pen and ink, fun cartoon drawing. You even had like a little story bit that went along with it, talking about the the robot, which is inspired by Forbidden Planet, the old Forbidden Planet sci-fi movie. And he's responding to a distress call. But he gets down to the planet, and the distress call is actually a warning call saying, don't come to the planet, there's monsters here. And so, yeah, he's now having to go fight the monster. So that's fun. I appreciate the simple style and just the lightheartedness to it. So, all right, we have latest designs. Good to have you join another one. You've entered most of my competitions here. Downtown DF, hey, what's up yourself? Yeah, Eldrazi Landscape. It does have a tinge of that on the flying, mountain scene. Like I said, the Crash Transport could be a science fiction vehicle that crashed on a prehistoric world. We have several of those renditions. This one being one. This is a good job of how you concept a piece. That is, I get the exact feeling that you're going for with this image, and I get the gist of it. But look at this. Like, it's not like the ship is really detailed. They photo bashed a couple of pieces on here to give them a frame to work from. They added some big polygon shapes off of it that you accept as some sort of wing. So it's a fairly quick rendering of how to put a scene together, but very effective way to build a scene as well. The dinosaurs here at the bottom are a great addition and immediately tells us what this world is like. Hey Pamela, good to have you join. And the water is fun, so overall I like this piece quite a bit. Dinsar. Yeah, this one is a cool idea with the transportation being a pterodon, or some version of a pterodon. The sign is sort of cheeky. Rivendell, Camelot, and Oz. Yeah. I would have liked to see a bit more fleshed out on the scene, but I can't remember if it was you. I know somebody said that something came up and they didn't have time to properly finish the image they wanted to, but the pterodon is pretty cool. I like that. I like that idea. Even having somebody like leaning over and kind of cradling the pterodon head as if the writer, is comforting it as it's dying, that would add a lot of narrative to the scene. So, yeah. Gilherm Oliveira. So this is sort of what I was talking about. It's not a super dark scene. We have some really dark stuff here right in the foreground. And he's actually letting it lighten as it goes back due to atmosphere and moonlight. But we accept it because it's so blue. And it is a moon and you can see stars. So all about that. You just bought a 3D software called Eon View. I'm making terrible landscapes. Getting good at it. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's good to branch out into some 3D software. Bo says, anybody know how to get their work reviewed by Clint? Yeah, I'll leave a link to your portfolio in a link to one of my YouTube videos, and I'll add it to the list, but I'll review them at random. I use a randomizer in order to pick them. So, no promises it'll get done very quickly. Alright, so let's talk about this scene for a minute. I like this rock. It feels natural. This is a nice natural rock formation. These are sort of cool. Like back here. This shape, I don't know what they are. If I would say just to adjust it, some of these need to be at an angle. Right? Just turn it so they're not all completely flat to my viewing plane. So a little turn on some of them. This is also not needed. We don't need a spire of rock going straight up in the middle of the scene, in the middle of this crevice. Just let that be like a flat plane back there, that's fine. Or an angled hill or something. It just needs to be nondescript. The Crash Transport is, a bridge that broke, and we have the wagon with the little beastie being pulled by it. Alessandro, hey, how's it going? So, a couple of thoughts on this one. I like the lighting. I like the atmosphere. I like the rocky terrain. Consider if you were to approach this scene, but again, angles. One of the things that's keeping this scene from being very much more engaging is that everything is very flat to us in planes. So if we were to see this plane, this scene from over here, so that we get a depth to it, right? We have perspective as it goes back away from us. Then we could have another plane of like one of these mountains or this shape back here that's going into the opposite angle. So we have a series of crisscrossing perspectives instead of just flat perspectives. Otherwise, I like the scene. I like the idea. I like how you interpreted the concept there. Jay Welsh, got another one in from you. Awesome. Good to have it. Veronica, welcome. Argentina. Welcome from Tennessee here. All right, that might be a little... Oh, no, I'm not trying to do that. Might be a little big for the scene. I was looking for a software and environment. Do you recommend this software to basic users? Oh, you talked to Pamela. Okay. All right, so we have a transport, another dinosaur transport. Some sort of white. I'm off of my dinosaurs. It's been too long. I can't remember. A Stegosaurus. White Stegosaurus. You know, on the whole, I like the general feeling. But I can't even make out very much of this. I'm not sure what's going on back here. And not a great way to show... Oh, like... Yeah, it's a little unclear. I like that there was some sort of thing back here, like part of it crashed off. So where would you go from here? Like if this is a broken piece from here... Then let's see some more hanging bits coming down off of it so that we know, like, it's dragging along some bits. Maybe we see some little skid marks on the ground where stuff is, you know, dragged across before it fell off. And then just clean up the scene a little bit back here so that we know what we're looking at. Maybe some nice stars up in the sky that have a bit more clarity to them. I'm not sure how you said the name. Koidal, I would guess. K-O-I-D-O. That's what it was listed as. Very nice scene. I like this. Narrative. So some sort of transportation. I assume they had a wagon of some kind. I see some wagon wheels. And it was attacked by something, perhaps. Or it slid off the roadway or the ice gave way. I'm not entirely sure what happened. But I think that's sort of the point. Like, these guys are investigating it as well. And so we're all looking at this scene going, what happened here? Where did our transport go? What happened to it? So that's neat. Also, a good rendition of quickly establishing a mountain terrain. You didn't overly detail a lot of rocks and snow and that sort of thing. You just hinted at it and then gave me plenty of atmosphere. And this light, like I said, you needed to put in some sort of lamp, light post, or pipes into the scene. So I would account a torch as being some sort of light source. That's fine. And these guys, again, you didn't overly detail them. It's not like we have like a lot of face shots or anything. And the hunched position shows more of an inquisitive posture. It's good. Yeah, if you're new to the stream and you're saying something to me or want me to comment on your question, then please put @Swatches at the beginning of your message in the live chat, and it will flag it for me, and I know that that is directly to me, and it's easier for me to notice that. Oh, we have another beastie transport. This one's been here a while, obviously. It's already turned to bone, and the rider did not make it as well, I'm assuming. Mount Nibble. Yeah, Mount Nibble was just a bit too far. They didn't make it. So, I like this idea, but maybe we see that a little bigger. We can make that more of the focus. Because that's the only thing we really have in this scene. This practically is all just silhouettes. And there's nothing on this tree besides the post, the sign there. And it was good to include the sign. But, you know, if this was a lot bigger, or up here near us, or if there was more skeletons, just to kind of add to the scene. And also, look up some references for how mountains silhouette at night or at dusk, you know, something like that. And that would help you come up with some more realistic tones of how to establish that. Mitch, what you got for me here? All right. We have another prehistoric scene with a space crash. Marco, you're welcome. Yeah. Got his little dino here. These are sort of fun mountain shapes. Like I said, finding something a little more unique can help. I said that, well, not in this stream. In a previous stream, I was talking about go try to find not just a mountain. Don't just do a rock, but make it have some character to it. And those do, and I appreciate that. So that's a mountain. We got some other guys up here. Now, stars generally you don't see so well all the way down to the horizon, so you might want to check that against some reference about why they fade off a little bit, I think, towards the horizon because you're looking through more atmosphere. You can see them more clearly straight up because you're looking through less atmosphere. So that would be one thing. And the green here, let's just check on the color scheme. Like, this is fine. This is all warm. Make sure that this basically is warm. And then, what is this? We probably don't want to use the same warmth because that creates a continuity between these two things. So this one could have like a green light over here. And then the smoke itself could be lit by that light. So we have like green light hitting the bottom of that smoke, and then it turns very black as it goes up. Veronica says, what basic narrative elements can an illustration have to make it attractive? What basic narrative elements can illustration have to make it attractive? I don't know, that's sort of broad as far as attractive. Can you clarify or rephrase that question? We have another downed spacecraft here. And I get that it's a downed spacecraft because that's sort of the gist of what it was supposed to be. But I don't really read that as a spacecraft. Like, I'm not sure about this one. I like the... Okay, let's say this. I like the execution. I like the color scheme. I like the general soft sort of moonlight. I like the rocky texture. But I don't know that it fits real well the narrative that we're going for this particular challenge. And that I don't feel like it just crashed. If it just crashed, I'd like to see more build-up. Like, if it came to a stop coming up this way, then let's say a pile of rocks and stuff where it bulldozed its, all this stuff up in front of it, and then some of it spilling over the top, right? Or this needs to have a big rut in it where these things drug along. However it is, or if it just fell down, then let's see a crater version where it has, sort of crater ring cracks coming up around it. And that's why it just feels like something that's been there and then the ground is sort of eroding over it rather than it just pancaked into this mountain terrain. This, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. I don't know that that's connected to them or it's connected to this thing. It has what I think is wires, so it makes me think it's tech. But instead, I would say, let's take this thing out. And then your character, make a nice big character here that like comes all the way up to here and let them fill in this much area. And maybe they had the head of another one right here. And we're just catching the side of the face. Like, you don't see much. And again, you kind of have that hunched, inquisitive, cautious stance. And they're looking at this thing. So I really love it if you would continue on with that. I think you would have a nice juxtaposition between the caveman and then the crashed vehicle. Let's see. Okay, we've got Yoshi Kagi. Don't recognize the name. Maybe, is this the first time you've entered? I think it probably is. Mountainous terrain. Going more for just dirt and grass hills. I'm guessing you have some sort of... I'm almost thinking you have like a water beast, because it's like you're going down the river and then this thing's kind of come up on the bank, which is an interesting idea. A transportation that's a water transportation animal instead of flying or like a horse or stegosaurus. This one just feels a little unfinished to me. Like, this is probably the focus of your image, because it's a character and it's multiple characters, and this is where the narrative of the scene happens. But it feels like it's not fleshed out enough for me to really understand who this is. Like, if you could establish this as a cave dude or a prehistoric man, that would help. Or if you pulled in a little closer to them, that might help. Then let's also establish a little more with the mountainous terrain. So that would be cool. If you're going to be doing waterfalls, something you might want to think about is having tiered waterfalls or multiple waterfalls going together. We could have, like, make this bigger so there's water coming off of that and coming down here. And so it's multiple water things coming together, just giving a lot of visual interest to the piece. And also something that you could bring in some of, that's a terrible way to say that, sorry, is the mist from the waterfall, which could be catching the moonlight. So you have this beautiful light spray, soft spray in the moonlight catching over those coming off the water. Then we can tone the light down a little bit and just warm it up. And it will still read as fire. It just doesn't have the brilliance. Like, this almost has the brilliance of a man-made spotlight. It's very white balanced and very bright. We want to go with something a little darker, but a lot more color, warm color to it. Ewan, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm not sure if I am. Another scene, mountainous terrain. We got some of the trees. I do like the addition of like a forest element to this. That's pretty cool. And we have the character right here in the foreground. Yeah, like that's not unlike what I was kind of saying on the other one. We just need the almost the shape, real close, simple version. And they're looking down here watching another group who is pulling a boat across a frozen lake. I like that idea. That would fit. That's pretty cool. So what would I do? A couple of suggestions would be to really let this part warm up and brighten up from the flame. So go look at a movie and look at screen captures of scenes where somebody is lighting the scene with a torch. Maybe they're down in a dungeon or in a cave, or, you know, there's a lot of movies that have torches in them. And look how it lights the area around it. And that's what I would be thinking. I'd think, like, let this be a lot warmer and a little brighter. Then it can go darker for this mid area. And then you can have light more down here. The idea is that instead of this area, I'm pointing with my finger as if you could see that. As this area up here is all about the same tone. And what we want to do is make sure we focus more attention down here. So add some more the warmth color from his torch. And you can also play with the idea that there is clouds going in front of the moon. So some of this could be dropping away into more darkness, and then you have patches of moonlight over certain areas of this landscape to draw your eye through them. And you could also just sort of pinpoint areas of interest with where the moonlight's hitting, and then you kind of obscure the rest of it in more shadow. All right, so that is all of them that we got to have submitted. Sometimes I occasionally miss one. I thought I downloaded it and missed it, but I think I got everybody this time. So, let me check the chat before I go further. Yeah, if you are new to the stream, you can go back and watch these later in case you have to take off or you're curious. These are recorded and will be posted on the channel. You have a question, Robin. What values should you have in a sketch? More specifically, if you're trying to emulate Ian McKeag. Well, if you can emulate Ian McKeag, you're doing pretty good. What values should you have in a sketch? If you're going for that style, it's not real value-based. That is, you're not establishing a lot of light and dark as far as lighting. What you're trying to do is use value in order to basically distinguish between different elements. Like, they have a black leather or dark leather, and they have light hair or dark hair. And so you're massing that sort of thing into your character. Yeah, I would say that the values are more just about clarifying the concept, because he does a lot more concept work than he does finished illustrations and in pencil. So if anybody has not looked up the work of Ian McKeag, go look it up. He's fantastic. Buy some of the books that have his artwork. Study it. You'll learn great stuff. And I have got to meet him a couple of times. Fantastic guy. Also, if you get the chance to ever take a class, hear him speak, give a workshop, that sort of thing, go do it. It will be worth your time. So, yeah, that is more about using value in order to convey a greater depth of the concept, rather than trying to emulate reality, if that makes sense. Okay, so some of the standout elements for me this time is several of you got great narrative in your image. You didn't just do an environment concept, you had a narrative scene. Thomas nailed that sort of thing in his piece. Good to see that. This one, not as much, but there's definitely a narrative to the scene, which is neat. Pterodon, let's see. This one definitely has a narrative to it. You feel like there is a scene unfolding. And let's see. This one a little bit, because of the people sort of investigating it. I think you could push it a lot further, though. And Urine also definitely has the narrative element, scene playing out that we have there. So, I will choose for this week. The winner is Coidal. I think this nails so much of what we're looking for. We have the prehistoric time period. It's a beautiful mountainous terrain. Michael, hey, how's it going? And we have the crash transport. It has a narrative scene. Immediately gets me interested in it. And it's not overworked, and it's not really underworked. I think it's really good for what it is. So, congrats to Coidal, and you do win a free prize. Any product that you want from the swatchesart.com store, send me a private message, and we will work out and get you whatever one you want from that. I got a question from Mitch. Is always blending my colors with a soft brush making my colors muddy? Possibly. Muddy colors comes less from the color itself than it comes from adding really light value to darker values and darker values to really light values. So it sort of grays out a lot of your tones. And that's one of the things you want to avoid. I would say that it would probably be better to start with, if you want to use a softer brush and have some softer tones in there, then start with a bigger, softer brush and block things in with that, and then get sharper and sharper. And use sharper and sharper brushes as you go on. So you don't have to use like a super pen brush, but you can use your normal fine-edged brush as you clean it up. And then that way you will have some soft tones that come through from the underpainting, and then you sharpen them up as you go. That was an idea. All right, well, congrats to the winner there. And let's go ahead and pull up another design for the new challenge. I'm trying to find what happened to OBS because I need to switch my screen. Nope, that wasn't it. Don't know what this computer thinks I'm trying to accomplish here. Trying to open this in the other program. There we go, there we go. Move that over there. Will you make more fundamental videos? Yes, I will be finishing this series. The next one up will be basic anatomy and proportions. Okay. I just want to pull this up here and mark it as we go so that you can see which one we're doing. Now, somewhere right here, I picked me up some dye. So we're gonna we're gonna figure out what the new environment will be based on dye roll. So D10 tells us, and we're not going to do the same thing twice. So like if it comes up with mountainous, we're not going to do mountainous again immediately. It's not. It is a coastal scene. Number 7. They'll have some sort of dwelling there, whether it's old or new. Small, sort of just somewhere somebody was living. Mood or tone, we have bleak. Okay. This is desolate. It's, yeah, bleak. A little lifeless. Okay, number 8 does not go with bleak. Overgrowth. You know, we could do overgrowth, but it, you know, some sort of, it could even be like a dead plant. It's just, it's, you know, dead trees. So it looked like it used to be really vibrant and lifeful, but they're all died. Or maybe there's some sort of plant that's coming up out of the lake or the coast, whatever it is, and maybe it's coral based, and it's overgrowing the coast, but yet it's almost stone, right? It's a sort of coral. So, yeah. And I will let you choose whatever location you want. Any is fine. Earth, Fantasy Earth, Alien. We're not going to define that one. And 6. No, I don't think I think that's enough right there. Let's just go with that. So, there you go. We'll do a coastal scene. Show me some dwellings. And make it bleak. Some sort of overgrowth. And any location's fine with me. Got a comment. What do you have here? Federico says, any chance for the next topic be related to artwork character design challenge? Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about the art wars going on. Now, so if you don't know, ArtStation.com is having a character design challenge called Art War. And it's an open challenge, so anybody is welcome to go out there. And if you're wanting to come up with a character for it, then feel free to do that. Do you use D&D dice for the roll? Yeah, I just picked them up at the game store when I was over there the other day. So, Nick, hey man, how's it going? I'm doing good over here. I also think that Cube Brush Art War 2 challenge would be interesting to look at. Alright. Well, maybe I'll do that with, I wouldn't say do it later, but I forgot when the deadline is for that. It's like the end of the month or something. But now we're going to just do another environment for this. And now let me go ahead and pull up a portfolio. Now I do have to use a generator number in order to find that, since I do not have a D172. Alright, what do we get? Portfolio right here. I may put in a portfolio, double check that it's a accurate link. No, it's not. They turned off their account. We will find someone else. Bo, you're saying, find me, find me. We will see what the random gives us. Okay. How do you participate in a portfolio critique? Leave me a link to your online gallery and a comment to one of my YouTube videos, and I will add it to the list. And portfolios are chosen at random. Alright, so we are going to be looking at the portfolio of Quentin Cachera from Quebec, Canada. You can go check out their work at quentincachera.artstation.com. What sources of images do you recommend to take references? What sources of images do you recommend to take references? Like, what do you need to go get references for? That would be just be based on whatever you're drawing. Anything that you don't know how to draw or you want to make more realistic. So I would say practically everything. You want a review if there is nudity in some of the portfolio entries? Yeah, it depends. It depends. Like, if there's a nudity filter where I have to click on it in order to bring it up and to show it, then I could probably at least pull up the gallery. Otherwise, there are stipulations about what I can post. I mean, I can't just show straight nudity, or I don't want to. I want to keep it family friendly. So, if you want to keep, make a separate account, have a different gallery, or, you know, a section of the gallery, that's fine. Alright, so let's flip through these. Do you have any advice on where I can start my color journey? I've avoided it, but now I want to create digitally painted art, and I'm very lost. The color looks like a preschool work. I would say go look up some color theory tutorials. There's some nice ones like on Tumblr and Pinterest, just to give you a starting point of how colors work with each other, and knowing the how colors interact, warm colors, cool colors, what complementary colors are. Look up what color schemes are and what they suit. So yeah, I would start by looking up free tutorials, lessons on color theory. Yeah. All right. Which characters? This is fun. I like her. I love the little owl. Yeah. Little bottles, okay. Practice. That's fun. I like this style. It's very colorful, and it's charming. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, this is a great way. Take a look at the way he's rendered like some of this stuff. It's a great way to have cartoony simplicity, but it also has a lot of form to it. And those do not have to be separate. You don't have to have one or the other. You can have both, and they do it well here. And one of the reasons is because this stuff has thickness. It's like you can look at the thickness of this green coming down here. These pieces of leaves have thickness to them. And that helps them make it feel real. It has volume. It's not just a flat shape that's colored in. It also behaves the same way that a three-dimensional item would. The way that the shadows cast on it. The way that it casts shadows on other things. So... okay, let's move over... Fawn of the Heelwood. Fawn of the Heelwood. Fawn of the Heelwood. Multiple versions, I guess? Let's see. Okay, we got a fawn here. Somebody going across that. This is nice. That's pretty lighting. That's an odd natural arch. I would question that as a natural arch. If you wanted to make that a tree that sort of came up here and then it got so heavy it's leaning and it's actually pushing off or kind of laying on the bank on the other side and then coming back, that would be cool. I wouldn't have any problem with that, but a natural arch is a little more questionable. You got to take off? Hey, I understand the time zone thing. Thanks for joining. Catch the rest of the stream later. Oh, this is beautiful. I like this. Fawn of Heelwood, again, let's see. Leading the eye right in, that's nice. I would say that there's a couple of things you could do to push this further. One is, let's get more of these yellow flowers. This is almost just so monotonously green that it would be better to get some of that yellow and spread it out here. Let that go across and fill up more areas. And... these are really neat. These viney bits coming down here are catching the light. Let's throw a lot more of those on there. Let that hang down. And this water shape feels odd. Like, that's not flat. I don't know. It sort of... I would look at a different shape for that little... the edge of that. Yeah. It feels like it's almost leaning up at me, which obviously it shouldn't because it's flat water. Swatches, Quentin is here in the chat talking to you. Yeah, well, what name is he going by? Is it Quentin? Quentin, hey, how's it going? Congrats, you just won the contest, right? Was it Quentin, the name? I can't even remember. No, Quentin. Okay, we're looking at your portfolio. Okay. No, Coido won the contest, that's right. 1:48 a.m. in Morocco. Oh, man. Don't let my stream destroy your sleep. You need to get some good sleep. All right, continue the scene. All right, this maybe even a better rendition of that. Again, now let's see some more of those colors. Different color flowers spread out. That'd be good. Excellent concepts, though. These are also photo bashed, right? Some of this is photo elements. Some of this is hand painted, and he's just sort of blended it together to create this scene. Yeah. Fountain. All right. I like this sort of train. I like she's, I don't know, an elemental, maybe? I'm not sure what she is, but like her train becomes leaves. I like that idea. Quiet scene. The artifact. Ah, no, this is some fun lighting. That's cool. Yeah, right up here, just put the light where you need it. Red light down here. I like it. I'd almost say let that go darker up here. And let the light... That's a good scene, though. Swatches, I'm trying to achieve a paint style like the Guild Wars 2 art, but I'm having some problems to get that style of image. Some advice. We might cover that in a little bit. Let's get through this first, and then we'll maybe touch on that. Creature design. We're creature design fans here. Let's take a look. Fawn designs. Looking at hair. Okay. Facial hair, long hair, short hair. There's some neat renditions here. Horn designs. Okay, cool. I like some of these designs. There's some sort of like tattoo thing going on. So, this is what I was talking about on one of my streams on Twitch, is moving something from being generic to specific. It's like a generic fawn, you could probably sketch out fairly quickly. It's like a humanoid, kind of shaggy hair, put some horns on it, and give him like a goatee. Alright, it's a fawn, but when you take the time to actually explore it, what sort of horns do we want? How can I do something a little more unique with the hair? And let's give him some tattoos. Now all of a sudden it comes from a generic fawn to like, this is a specific character. This is a specific person. Yeah, check out the work for Kike Kataki. He does a lot of the artwork for the Guild Wars 2. And if you haven't already picked up the Art of Guild Wars 2 book, I've got a copy of that. It's a good one. It's worth picking up. Oh, these are some cool designs. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that like on a character like this before. So, Quentin, what was these for? Was this a game, personal project, film? Yeah, what was that for? It looks like almost all of these were for that particular thing. Oh, these are beautiful. Look at that. Can we pull up closer on those? Not too much. Okay. Ah, the tree's growing into the fawn character. That's neat. The costume of the fawn was already made. Okay. Scout looks like something very different. Yeah. Some sort of sci-fi planet, alien, I'm not sure. I like the idea, like, if this is an alien terrain, I like the idea that the ground is purple. You know, whatever, you know, material element is in the ground makes it a purple color. And they have some sort of breathing apparatus, atmosphere apparatus, I guess. Okay. Creature design. Oh, they make me smile. That would be really cute to see. I like that idea. It's a cemetery of the Hillwood. So what, like, they come here and they die and then they become part of the woods? It's for a short film. Okay. Okay. The lighting on this is really nice. The posture is good. It's not overworked. You immediately get the feeling of what you're going for here. I mean, I don't have a lot to tell you. If these are elemental, or if these are wood, then I would like to see more wood texture up in this. I'm not sure. It might make more sense if you see it in motion, and like you said, this is for a video. So, you know, these might be human actors that have stuff on them, so they are supposed to still have skin. Otherwise, we need more wood texture so that they feel like wood. Yeah, I would just, not a lot to tell you on those. I've already kind of gone over. I would say expand the color palette out a little bit with some, you know, purple flowers, yellow flowers, orange flowers, something just to break it up on the monotony of the green. Or if you have some of these things hanging down, like they can sort of change colors as they go down. It's like all the new leaves are a purple, and then they go into a green as they go up. I'm looking for ways just to kind of break it from the normal a little bit and add spots of extra color. Cartoon art. Yeah, very big style change here. A lot simpler as far as the tones are going. Okay, we have different day versions. All right. This is like, I'm not sure. It's like a little plant growing up on the light or something. I don't have too much to say about that. I mean, it's probably what you're going for, and some of these things, it really matters whether or not it just fits the script. And I don't know what the script was, or the brief, the outline for the piece. Otherwise, it's nice and clean. Like, if this is going to be used for a game, I could see this being used in some sort of, you know, mobile game where you've got a character moving around in the scene, or you're adding items, or this is your house and you're collecting things for your house. Yeah, no. You're thinking through it. You're adding all the little elements to it that you would expect to see in a little house like that. Test. I'm not sure what you're testing, but let's pull it up a little closer and take a look. It's a good scene. Again, got some photo bashing going on, using different elements of buildings and stuff, vehicles, throwing it together. You might want to add in like a gun barrel flash. And then kind of, you just in that, you know, 100th of a second, you've got a flash of light on one of the guy's faces, and you can see the fiery, gassy burst off of the end of it. You can just to ratchet up the tension in the scene and the action in the scene a little bit. Put that in there. What else could you do for this? I'd also say that you might have a light that is behind this corner over here, and that is catching the side of this vehicle. Or you need a brighter light back here so that this vehicle is going to stand out a little more. It's going to have a pop of color, and maybe there's like a big red, you know, glowing sign here that's picking up on the side of that. And maybe adding some pedestrians that are like jumping out of the way or kind of cowering or running off. Yeah. I'm not sure what the outline was again. Just sort of saying, if, you know, options that you could have there. Well, not all images, not all portfolios lend themselves to paintovers. I'm not seeing anything here that I can't really just talk you through that I would really need to do a paintover to illustrate. You've got the basics down, obviously, and you're doing some professional work, and you've got lighting that's interesting. We're just talking about little stuff, you know, little tweaks here and there, possibilities maybe you hadn't considered, or different directions that you could take something. So no, I think it's all good. I appreciate you sharing your portfolio with us. You got some beautiful pieces. I guess one small thing is some of your trees definitely seem not real. Like, they seem kind of fake. The trunk design seems kind of fake. What you might want to try is getting... I know they're out there. I downloaded some at some point. You can get a tree silhouette brush, and you just plop in some silhouettes of tree trunks, and they have, you know, the nice organic normal tree shapes to them, and then you can modify them. You can make them fatter or thinner, or, you know, make taller or shorter, or lean them, or whatever you need to do. But yeah, some tree brushes just to block them in quickly and have maybe a more interesting shape. Because a lot of times, nature can come up with more interesting tree shapes than we can ourselves. And you probably did that back here too. Like, that's probably a tree brush. So I would just say use that more, then you can adjust it to however you need it. Add the extra bends, add the, you know, the twist to it and the gnarls, and yeah. All right, cool stuff, cool stuff. Flip back here and let me pull up. Let's see, what time is it? 8 o'clock. Okay. All right, let me check the chat, see if there's anything that I missed. Emerson, hey, Strike, welcome, welcome. Gabriella. Any font can be a font, but only a specific font can be Mr. Tumnus. True words. You're welcome, Quentin. Yeah, thanks for putting it up there. You follow a list for this review. The portfolios are chosen at random from submissions. So, okay, where did my list go, though? But, oh, right here. Okay. My cat. Oh, is she back there? Yeah. She loves her little kitty house. She's crashing up there. Choco! Hello, everybody. First time here. Loving it. Hey, well, thanks for joining. It's awesome. We'll look at one more portfolio, and then we will break from here, and I'm going to grab some food, and then I'll switch over to Twitch, where I've got to do some painting. But let me find a new... Oh, yeah, I need to mark yours, or we just looked at yours. There we go. And... random number, yes. Find me another one. Right here. Let me check to see if the link is good. It is. Cool. Swatches, would you make a video tutorial to create custom brushes? I thought I already had. I'm thinking about that. No, I think I went over that in one of my Twitch streams. In the stream that was about painting grass, I went over how to do that. I would have to make a video. Yeah, that's a possibility. It's not that much to go over, really. So, let's flip over here. We are looking at the artwork of, I'm going to say, Kaj Dreisen, 2D and 3D artist, kajdreisen.com. Let's look at the 2D art. I will be a little more of authority on that topic. Alright. Okay, personal illustrations, client work. Alright, what's he doing professionally? There are a couple of tutorials out there for custom brushes. Yeah, custom brushes is also something that you can probably find a dozen videos, at least, here on YouTube that are decent. That show you just what the parameters are and how you make them. I mean, it's nothing that a lot of people can't tell you. Alright, Right Publishing, Pathways Magazine, 2016. Okay, so what do we have? Some sort of gnomey dwarven guy on a stone creature. I like the idea. The teeth don't really work. I would expect those to be big stone teeth. Or gold teeth would be cool. Normal human style beastie teeth I find odd. That's some background scene. Oh, my bad. I did not mean to hit that button. Oops, just a second. I will get that back. All right, hang on. I have to reload that. Yeah, if you want to know what classic Swatches is, that's it right there. Either forgetting to change my camera back to my screen, or like closing the files that we're actually using. Do you post your Twitch streams on YouTube? Not all of them. I am downloading them and I am editing them down. So I will likely post some of them up later, but they're just going to be time lapses. So you're not going to get all the commentary, you're just going to get time lapses. But the Twitch streams are available to be watched on Twitch on the past broadcasts. Alright, so let's go back to client work. Lorarian Studios, Divinity, Original Sin, Enhanced Edition. I assume this is concept art for it. It doesn't look like it's published things. Alright, got good lighting. That gets the scene across. Okay. Maybe it is publishing. Not sure. Alright, let's go back. Personal sketches. Yeah, personally, I like time lapses. You don't have to listen to me drone on for 3 hours. You can see the whole creation process of something in 10 minutes. That is an interesting creature. Some sort of sphinx style. Glowing eyes. I like the old face. A lot of times in a sphinx sort of creature, you see them being this, like a woman's face that is ageless and young, but an older one, that's a nice feeling with lots of beard and the little fasteners in the beard. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this piece needs some more work. The idea's there, but the lighting isn't telling me anything. And there's an opportunity to really push this up. Like, okay, if we turn down the lighting some back here, like, all right, we're having the lightest thing possible back here where there is no interest. And that's not usually a good sign. So let's put that into more shadow and let the light be on him more. And then most of the scene can be dull grays, dull blues, browns. And then you have this pop of red blood. And the red, whatever whatever runes he used the blood to make right here, that's going to pop out. It's going to pop out down here. And then maybe he's got a little bit splattered on his face or, on his clothes from killing it. And then you've got more drama to this. And it's got, some visual interest with the colors doing more and the lighting is doing more. So it's not even redrawing the whole scene. It's not like you need to rearrange the stuff. You don't need to repose it necessarily. We probably want to move this to cover up more of that, though. Because it looks like he's carrying it way far back when it's probably going to be sitting right up behind his head. So I'd move that up. And also the anatomy just looks kind of weird. I mean, you probably can't find a real great reference for that animal in that pose, but I would challenge you to try to find a little more in order to get this right, because there's no muscle tone. I don't know what the hair is doing here, so just take an effort to go push that a little further. Yeah. All right. The Witcher vs. Bambi. That basically does look like the Witcher vs. Bambi. But it's not even exactly a deer because it's got like big teeth. Like this is a carnivorous fang. So I don't know if it's plant eating or meat eater. Oh no, this is cool. I like the pose of this guy. You have him like mid swing. And kind of what I said a couple of challenges ago about having a giant character and altering the anatomy a little bit. So it's not just a big person. It's a giant. It's a different race. It's a different, species. And so, yeah, saber-toothed deer. Gotta watch out for those. They'll kill you back. The horns are a nice addition. And then the spacing of the eyes, check that out. You got the eyes and he spaced them a lot further. So it's not just straight human. It's something different there. That's cool, riding in on a dragon. I like that. And this is interesting, I would say, to push it further, though. There's like riding on the wings. I want to see more of that. That's a cool idea, man. Start it like small, and then let it get bigger, or have a design. Let there be like a design like this, and then let the runic sort of writing go off of that. I think that's cool. So I would play that up more, and it also sort of just needs the more visual information because right now this is a lot of area that's fairly uninteresting. Something that you could do is add more wrinkles into the skin, the stretched skin, so that when it goes over the bone structure, that it's not perfect, right? You've got fabric, and you can think of it kind of like fabric, where you're hanging it over it, and it's going to bunch up a little bit in some places. In some places it isn't. And so it has a little texture to it as it's going there. Overall, I like this scene quite a bit. This is another place where you might tone down the light back here so that the major light on this part of the image is right there on the character. Not so much that you have to put it into shadow, but just ease it down a little bit as if the atmosphere is sort of muting it a bit. Let's see, anything else? This I find a little odd. The white of the snow, that's almost exactly paralleling the angle of the dragon, and then this heel is angling along with the dragon too. It seems like instead what we want to do is have it so that the lines are going this way. Everything's pointing you up at this character rather than trying to take you off this image. Because right now that's kind of what all of this is doing, is taking you up here. We'll pull that off and we'll do a quick rechange on the composition for that one. But let's take a look at some more of these. Right. Lighting is nice. That's fun. I like this character. Backlit, glowing hands, like magma sort of thing going on. I would suggest right now the face is completely in shadow, that you light the side of that face. Give me this plane of the face right here. Side plane. I'll let that be lit so that we get the form of the face from that light at the cute angle. And then play down this other light. You can flatten out the tones on the face because you don't need as much tone. There's sort of a... can I zoom in on that? No, I can't. Okay. There's sort of a cool bounce light hitting the top of that, and it's just... it's not really needed. I would say in here, let the skin tone really just flatten down a lot. And you don't need to tell me a lot of the tones. Instead, just let the base tone of the skin tone be the difference that you have. And then the form can be told a little bit more from the light from the side of the face. Anything else? No, that's pretty good. On this, you can just let that be backlit. And the colors can pop a little more. It feels muted. Kind of grayed out. When it could really have a nice snap of red or orange color to it right there. And I assume this is for something else. Like, you're putting text here and or information here, because otherwise it's dead space. This has a very Brahm-esque feel to the character, which is not a bad thing. This is sort of what I was talking about earlier, which on the other piece about muting down to dull blues and browns and then having the pop of the red blood. That's basically how this is working with this green and orange here. So the magic there really pops out, and he has that reflected on a couple of spots. This is a very nice image. I'm a fan of this. Again, though, and it looks like you're doing this a couple of times, where the background elements are all following the exact same angle as the foreground elements. Like, this is leading into the arm is leading into this building, and the tombstones are leading the exact same angle to the head, and from the head it's leading into this building. Why is the background mimicking the angle of the foreground? Elements that shouldn't have any bearing. You know, running them flat, or run them the other direction, or let one of them be distinctly different, like this roof line, let it be up here, and it has to come down, and then it gets to the tombstones here. So, yeah, I would keep that in mind. You're just having some odd interplays on the angles on those. All right. I don't know, maybe that one got away from you a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure what you I'm not sure exactly what the feeling is here. The lighting is really harsh on him, but I don't get the feeling it's supposed to be. I would soften out the light on him a little bit. Like, okay, this is one of the issues going on, and I think my chat probably froze because I have not seen an update in a while. If somebody would type something in the chat, just double check this thing is working. Alright. Alright, so this is really breaking down with the values. This pose is good. I read the pose. Now it's working. Okay. And him pulling on the reins. This guy's expression is okay. Might need a little work. But where it's breaking down is the values, because we have a lot of high contrast. We have a light horse with a dark shadow with a light background. We got dark up here. We got light here. It's just a light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And I think something needs to be flattening down a little bit towards the mid-tones so that the lights and darks have something not to compete with. Like, we have a really bright light back here that's as bright as anything on the character. And either, I would say that he almost needs to be darker. Like, his whole face and head needs to be into shadow. Or all of this needs to be in shadow. Or all of this needs to be lighter. And the background needs to be shadow. Yeah, you got to work with the values a little bit on that so that it's not broken up with light, dark, lots of little patterns, a couple of bigger patterns. And this lighting is as if it has a very high intensity light instead of what seems to be a general overhead light, which would have softer shadows to it. Okay. Let me get this image over, and then we will pull it up briefly and mess with it. Okay. That thing where you just save a file and you don't know where it goes. Okay, there we go. Won't spend too long on this. I just want to hit a couple of things. So, yes, I would actually, Pamela. I think that would be nice. Pen and paper, a pencil and paper stream. Actually, give me a bigger brush. So compositionally, let's look at some other options. Like, instead of this going this way, what we could do is change. I'll just use orange in order to show. No. Yeah, sorry, OBS. Slows it down just a little bit so it doesn't respond quite as fast, and I can kind of get ahead of it. So he's looking towards this. This is a character. That's a focal point. And that means that we want to draw the eye to this place. But right now, this is coming this direction. 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 And none of these things are pointing to the focal point. So if we can change that, we can make some radiating lines off of this area. Now see, the dragon's working right there. And these elements on the wing are actually doing a little work right there too. And the sword is. So that character is doing good to pull you there. Now, what about using some of the other elements? And we want to get rid of that one back there. I'll also say that what we want to do, let's start at the top. Find a better shape for this mountain. So the mountain sort of is pointing down to that guy. I can have like a little piece that comes back up. And then this is where you could have like snow kind of coming off that mountain, and it has a pattern to it, and that's a little too on the nose, so let's not do that one. But now, we could have a shape down here. You almost need a shape down there in order just to block in that corner. But I don't want to keep it at the exact same angle of the wings. So I'm trying to make it a little more vertical. And then we can bend the angle off so that it's a little different. Or even if it's like, I mean, you could do it as some treetops, which would probably be better. Makes it feel like he's higher. So you have some treetops sticking them back up here. And then we can continue with some snow drifts that, again, go along with that sort of angle there. And then we can have more trees. Since we're like looking upwards, we can have some of these trees to be leaning in with the perspective. You say he need to risk more using foreshortening. For example, the dragon's tail closer to the camera, flying out past. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, like you could have the dragon's tail coming, you know, real close to us. You would have to bend it around some. Oh no, computer, back up, back up. And you know, down here, oh, a little much. Nope. Turn that off just a second. Yeah, so down here, you kind of block it in like that, and then you get the lighter tone, and you run up over it. And you crisscross a little wavy patterns over top of the other one. And then for the higher points, you know, you can hit them up a little bit. And then when it comes out to the thinner parts, then all of a sudden you can do like almost veiny style where it's stretching across. It's taunt. And you're creating that sort of pattern. And then it feels a little thinner, right? Because you can almost see through it. But you could push that further too and have more of the scene, you know, show through. And it only gets more opaque at the edges or where it's getting thicker and it bunches up around the wing structure bits. Yeah, you were talking about kind of like using a different camera. I would agree. This guy feels like he's kind of using one camera version where it's foreshortening him a lot more. But this one's using almost a long angle lens where it's flattening out the dragon. And we could see more foreshortening going on with him. Like this wing, if you, like this one's going way up, right? That's kind of cool. But this one's going flat, basically. So what if this wing's coming up here, and then we've got overlap of, essentially the wing is coming up like this, then coming out, or coming back down. And then it basically changes angles like that. And now we have something more like this, or it can come towards the camera more, you know, and have it bigger. So, yeah, get more perspective with that. Make more use of the tail. The tail could be coming up bigger, you know, like this sort of thing. And using the background to point you all towards that. And you can do the same thing with the background over here by having, you know, the mountains leaning towards, and they can go off into like you know, fog right here. We don't need it leaning, going all the way to his face, but we could have, you know, light on the mountain leading up to him, and then it goes into a fog so you can't see it. Then this part we need to tone down a little bit. And that's sort of obscured and mist back there. All right, a couple of ideas on those. No. Yeah, snow would even be an interesting idea. One thing with snow is sometimes it just makes it look noisy instead of adding to it. But certainly something to consider. You can go in and get that and just add in some flakes. Make sure you put them in streaks, though, so that it feels like there is a lot of speed passing. And you're going along the ride, we're keeping up the same speed with the dragon. And you could add some swirls, right, to keep it interesting. And you can use them to sort of direct the eye by having them fly around and sort of mimic where you want the eye to go. And they can help add to the motion. What you don't want to do is just have a lot of snow going straight up and down. Super boring. No, you allow the gust of the wind to move wherever you want the eye to go and follow the motion of the image. So, yeah. All right, we're going to stop it for there. 8:30. So we're going to end this stream, and then I would say in about 20 minutes, I'm going to start streaming over on Twitch, twitch.tv/swatchesart. And I hope to see everybody over there. Let me take a look at the chat. I'll answer any final questions, comments, if you guys have some. I'll move back up here. Question back to you, Pamela. What would you want to see covered on a pencil paper stream? Like, what is it about it? You want me to talk about the pencils and we talk about pencil techniques? You want to just see how to sketch things in pencils? Give me some clarification on that if you can. Well, my chat is going crazy. It just keeps having to reload over and over. Is knowledge about camera lenses essential for artists? Because I really have no idea about them. No, I would say it's one of the later things you probably learn about. Because it's more advanced. It's really when you start playing with it. It's worth having a passable knowledge on. So I looked that up. And just look up a photography book or a photography website, tutorials. You don't see artists doing drawing on it much. You don't see, I mean, you don't have artists teaching on it very much. So your best bet is probably to learn something from a photo source. And the main thing you want to look at is how it bows the image. Like a fisheye lens is going to warp everything so you have a really wide view that's compressed into a smaller area, whereas and that means that the lens has a lot of curve to it, whereas a long distance lens is going to be much flatter and it's going to flatten things out. There won't hardly be any lens distortion. It flattens all out. And the lens they use a lot in cinematography for movies. You could also look that up to see what lens to use. How does it affect the scene? Yeah. Hey, Clint. So I failed 7 times trying to get into illustrating for Magic. Do you have any advice that may help me improve my art to fit the requirements? Dude, without knowing what your work is? Not really. Yeah, I would have to see your stuff, man. I couldn't. I could generally just say make sure you have the fundamentals down and you're having a portfolio that is, you know, fantasy based and it's appealing to them. Does it, let me ask you, Bo, does it equal what they already have? Are you doing as good of work as what the guys are doing right now? So here's a stream of pencil sketches. Here's the stream of pencil sketches. I don't see anything after your comment there, George. So I don't know if the link didn't go through or something. Yeah. And something else you have to think about, Bo, is maybe Magic isn't the place you need to be looking at. Maybe there's a reason that your work doesn't fit them. Maybe you don't have the same approach that they are looking for. Maybe you don't have the same style that they're looking for. Maybe they don't have any openings. So I would advise you not to hang all your hopes and dreams on one thing, one company, one position. I would advise you to have some openness in that regard. There are a lot of companies out there. There are a lot of projects and jobs. And I'm not saying that you give up on it as being a goal, but let it be a goal and not the goal. So go look for other companies. Try to get in with Fantasy Flight. Usually if you can get some lower companies and projects down, it's going to give you a lot of experience and understanding that you might not have and need in order to pick up somebody like Wizards. So get what you can. Yeah. Let's see if this works in the pencil sketch stream. Twitch TV videos. I added a space after each letter. Okay. Okay, so this link is... What is this? This is what you would like to see covered in a pencil stream. I'm erasing your spaces so I can see what you're linking to me. And when we get over to Twitch, I'm going to be doing a space scene. We've got some space planets and a like astronaut, and I'll be doing it for a new playmat. So yeah, Swatches, never seen you work on paper. It would be nice to see something. I love to work with pencil. Hey, I like working with pencil myself. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I would look forward to doing a pencil stream. I would have to set my little rig up again so I could have my camera pointing down. But yeah, that could be cool. We could sketch some pencil stuff. I did sketch a little bit on the stream the other night on Twitch. Yeah, oh my gosh, this chat is just glitching out on me. Sorry guys, it just keeps like trying to reload and it moves stuff around, and I don't know why it's having such a hard time. Okay, so this link, is this a live link? Oh yeah, okay, you linked over to the one that I drew the other day. Okay, cool. Yeah, I sketched some heads the other day that I ended up inking on Twitch stream. Well, it looks like we have some more comments here. Nick says, I think the best approach for Magic is don't work towards Magic. Just work on getting better. I've played 3 times, no avail. I just know that it gets better. Shouldn't burn myself. Honestly, Nick, that's solid advice. And that would apply. Absolutely. And it kind of goes for life, too, is sometimes you have to work towards things at an angle rather than straight on. And that's a little counterintuitive, but... It's, you know, one of the things that I learned doing art competitions is it's not always 100%. It's not the fastest runner always wins. I mean, take racing. The fastest runner doesn't always win. Sometimes the fastest runner is sick and can't compete at top, you know, shape. Or his shoe becomes loose. Or he pulls a tendon, or whatever. So some things that you think should be if I get this good, this will happen. It doesn't, all right? And that's the problem when you hang a lot on a particular specific goal, is that sometimes it doesn't happen. And instead, have stepping stone goals. So that might be your ultimate goal, but have a goal between right now and that goal. And then have a goal between that goal and the final goal. Be like, I want to get to this company first, or I want to do a project about this, or I want to get paid this much for it. And to have these sub goals and start clicking those off. Because if you just have one massive goal and you're constantly not hitting it, that can be very disheartening. And that's not good for your artistic growth, personal growth, and your motivation to continue trying. So instead, if you have some sub goals and you can be kicking those off, then that will keep you more enthusiastic and have more motivation to go forwards. And instead, you got things like this art war. The goal isn't, if you enter art war, my goal isn't to win art war. My goal is to do a really great job and do a piece that I'm proud of. That's a good goal. Or do something that you haven't done before. Like I'm not good at drawing women. So, okay, make it your goal for the artwork to do a woman character. So in that way, you're pushing yourself. And I tell you what, if you end up getting good enough, yeah, you'll probably get into magic. But the other thing to keep in mind is the industry is always shifting. Like, I don't know that magic will be around in a year from now. And that's not like some sort of insider knowledge. What I'm saying is, I have no idea if some big corporate thing happens and Hasbro gets bought out by somebody. They own Magic. And they decide to close the line of Magic games. And they close Hasbro after taking them over. I don't know. That could happen. Companies get bought out and go under all the time. So what happens then? Your dream of becoming a magic artist can't happen because maybe the game goes under. The Star Wars trading card game went under. It was one of the biggest in the world at the time, and it was one of the best games at the time. But company problems made them go under. So, keep those things in mind and find you some new goals and stuff to shoot for, something you can be proud of, and just keep hammering at it. Don't give up on it, but yeah. Totally, I've been getting into illustrating for smaller companies, but I'm not sure what I'm missing for Wizards. Go figure out where one of the Wizards art directors is going to be at. They usually hit some of the major conventions, and go talk to one of them and let them tell you. Your only rival should be you. If you start comparing yourself with a professional with 20 years industry, you're going to feel the worst artist always. It's true. Federico, good advice, good comment. Yeah, comparing yourself to other people can be really good to motivate you, and it can also be really good at demotivating you. So you can compare in order to learn and be like, okay, how did they handle this scene? How do they handle that? How do they do the lighting? So you can learn from it like that, but don't compare as if, well, I'm just not there. I'm not good enough. I can't be like that person. Because you have no idea what their art history is. How much time they put in, who they trained under, any of that stuff. So you can't do that. Jeremy Jarvis, I believe, is the best WotC art director right now. Jeremy Jarvis is awesome. That guy's great. He's the one that got me into Magic or approved my, portfolio or whatever. He's not an art director per se right now. He's like an he's like a production director or something. He's higher than the art directors and doesn't work with people on an individual basis anymore. They hired more people to work as art directors. He's creative director. That's what it is. Magic is awesome. Play some Magic. Magic is awesome. Yeah, there's a reason it's really popular and it's been around so long. It's a well-streamed game. It's a lot of fun. Cynthia Shepherd is head now, I believe. Yeah, she's cool. I like Cynthia. Also work with Dawn. I like working with her too. Cynthia Shepherd's just another art director. They have a couple of new ones too. Swatches, can you review the challenge parameters one more time before you... Yeah, good point. Let me go back over here. So the parameters are right here. Let's do a coastal scene. A coast, let's not make that like a stream or a river, but let's make that a proper, either a large lake, an ocean, a sea, something on that line. Dwellings. The dwellings could be a house, a yurt, a hut, a teepee, something that was, carved into the rocks, whatever, is a bleak tone. So you're probably going to be looking at very limited color. Or maybe the color is very monotonous. And also look at, you could consider looking up some references for marshlands and bogs. And sort of a dark, I would say not necessarily dark, but an overcast sky that mutes everything. It's kind of like a heavy gray blanket over the scene. An element, overgrowth. I assume that overgrowth is all dead at this point, so trees, vines, mushrooms, seaweed, or it could be some coastal scene that is almost all dried up, right? That would be sort of bleak, and then what used to flourish underneath the water is now dried up because the water's gone. Make it alien, make it fantasy earth, make it earth. Any of them are fine. Does Swatches have Discord? No, I do not currently have Discord. Clint just made a Twitch, no Discord, I think. Yeah, I'm open to doing it. I just have a lot on my plate at the moment, so kind of hitting one thing at a time. Trying to get my stride with Twitch first, and then we'll see about adding a Discord. Swatches, when starting out, how much of my practice time should I allocate to drawing or sketching? How much in painting when I want to learn both? When you're just starting out, I would say if you're just starting out, most of your time should be spent drawing and sketching. Because when you get into painting, I would say if you're starting out, might get 2/3, 1/3. Or half and half. I don't think you should be painting more than you're drawing. You could stick it at half and half, and that's fine. You also might think about just painting a grayscale. Just use black and white. And focus on getting accurate values. That is how light and dark things are. And getting used to the brush and the texture. There's always a learning curve to a medium itself. Learning how wet to make the paint. How long it takes to dry, what brushes to use, how to handle the brush. So make sure that you simplify it down until you get past that curve. Then start adding in more complex subject matter and start adding in color and, making it more difficult for yourself. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this challenge too. I think there'll be some cool pieces in this, and I hope to see, plenty of entries. So we got 59 people here. Let's see 59 entries for next week. And if you're new to the stream or just need a reminder, get it in before... Oh, actually, let me check my schedule. Am I going out of town this weekend? No. Okay, that would be the following. Yes, get it in before 4 p.m. next Sunday, next Monday, the 15th, Central Standard Time, USA. Here we go. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It doesn't have to be a finished piece, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a piece that you're proud of. What this is just something to make you have some momentum. So, do a piece, do a concept, maybe you give it one pass, maybe you spend 20 hours on it. And it's up to you, whatever fits your schedule. I just want to see people are making a little effort, moving the needle towards their goal, and keeping some momentum going. It's so much easier if you just have a little momentum. How much do you get paid for drawing one magic card? I cannot tell you that, legally speaking. I cannot tell you their arrangement. I will tell you as much of, if you could do one a week, then you could live a decent life, at least here in the U.S. So, yeah, that's about what I'll tell you. They do also have different tiers. Like if you're doing a common or uncommon card, it's one tier. If you're doing like an epic rare card, that is going to get more face in the promotion of the release, then it's going to get paid a little bit more. And then Planeswalkers do is the higher tier. I guess there's 4 tier. And then the top one is not a card. It is an actual promotional image that's used like on the box or website, that sort of thing. So, you do 1 card per week. Yes and no. It takes me about a week to do a card, but I usually have other things going on. Like I have some of my own products that I do. I have other clients that I work for. So when I'm doing one, that's about it. Otherwise, my time is filled up with other things. Yeah. And, you know, I've done them faster. I've done them in like, I think the fastest one I've done is 2 days. 3 days, some quicker ones. And then for a card like a Planeswalker, that's going to take closer to 2 weeks. And I'm also working a lot faster than I used to. All right, well, I got to take a break here, and we will close down this stream. I'm going to grab some food, and we'll hop over to Twitch. I hope to see everybody over there. I will type in the link. That is www.twitch.tv/Swatches Art. And be sure to follow me and check the notifications over there so that you know when it goes live. My schedule over there is not yet set. There we go. All right, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for submitting your portfolios. If you haven't already, feel free to do that. Send in your submissions before next week, and until I see you next time, hopefully it'll be soon on the other side. Keep drawing.